What's up guys, DC here, welcoming you back to another episode of Wolf Lodge. On this episode, I show you just what it takes to source water on this property, and then we continue work on that bedroom. So, let's get started. Okay, I'm going to start this episode off focusing on water, how we store it, and how we source it. For those of you who have been following along, if you can remember to a couple episodes ago, digging out the lumber mill, you remember me talking about last fall, the structure and getting a roof on that structure was priority number one before the snows came, and everything else on the property got neglected a little bit. The lumber mill got neglected. I pretty much just threw a tarp over it and wished it good luck over the winter, and uncovering it this spring, we found out that it survived really well. No major damage. These 55-gallon drums and this 500-gallon cistern is how we store water, and these also got neglected a little bit before winter came. I didn't drain any excess water out of them, so any water that was left in them froze over the winter. And the rain barrels did a really good job after a quick inspection of surviving the winter. Unfortunately, my 500-gallon cistern did not survive the winter. This is the first casualty on the property from neglecting it in the fall. You could see the water had froze, expanded, and put a crack in this 500-gallon cistern. Fortunately, we still have these rain barrels that did a better job of surviving the winter than that cistern did. We have 2 barrels sitting here and 4 more sitting up on top of this hill for a total of 330 gallons of water storage capacity that we're going to have this summer. Water we're going to be using for things like the occasional shower, the concrete piers on that deck, and the most important, drinking water. Okay, this cistern. It's never going to hold water again with this massive crack in it, but after thinking about it for a little bit, I'm going to repurpose this thing for something else in the future. I'll give you a hint. Think outhouse. But for now, I'm going to get this thing out of the way and clear this spot for these rain barrels sitting up on top of the hill, so I can have all 6 of these rain barrels sitting here in a nice organized area. Okay, we got the pad nice and level where the cistern used to be to make room for these rain barrels. A nice flat area to make these look nice and organized. Let's start getting them over here. No! Okay, we got all 6 barrels here ready to be filled. We're gonna fill them with this PEX piping. I'm about to take a hike and show you exactly what sets on the other end of this pipe. But before I do that, I want to do something that I've never done before. Figure out exactly how far away these barrels are from the water source. So I'm going to mark a waypoint on my GPS unit. And now that I've marked the GPS location of these barrels, I'm going to follow this PEX piping and show you exactly what lies on the other end of this. You can see a tree has fallen on top of this pipe, but barely missed it. Not touching it, so we're still in the clear. All right, we got the end of our PEX pipe. And what do we have here? Woohoo! Water. Water that is coming straight from the ground. A spring. After being out here for a couple years, I know that when the snow is all gone, that this spring dries up. So it's important for me to fill all my rain barrels now while there's still snow in the high country before this spring dries up. All right, I left this sitting out all winter long. Let's see what it looks like. The pump. A very important piece of equipment when it comes to water. So what I've done in the past and what I'm going to do now is take this cooler, use it as a water basin to fill up with water for a source for that pump to pump out of. All right, let's give this a shot. Okay, you can see I put this mesh filter over the intake. That is to keep debris out of the line and keep debris out of our rain barrels. Okay, I'm gonna hook up the piping end of our PEX piping. You can see I just got a little bit of a garden hose spliced, so our PEX piping has the ability to thread into this pump. And this pump has been sitting all winter long. Let's see how it does. little bit of a leak there. I'm gonna come back with some tape and see if I can't get that fixed. But the system should be running. I'm curious to know just how far away this water source is from our filling tanks. Okay, I'm learning for the first time just how far away this water source is from my tanks. 291 feet away. Wow. So I'm about to go walk this and see what's happening on the other end of this piping. Okay, coming up on my tanks, and let's see what we got. Look at that. Woo-hoo-hoo! We got water. Oh, you could tell that's snow runoff. Okay, I am filling my first barrel. Now I got some tape. I'm gonna go back to the other end of this system and see if I can't get that leak plugged. And if all goes well, I'm gonna show you guys something really cool. Okay, the spring is keeping up with the intake. Everything's looking good here. But DC, your barrels aren't filled yet. Why'd you just shut the pump off? That is something cool I'm about to show you. So, let's see what our elevation is here. That's gonna give you a hint to what's going on. Okay, the elevation of this water source is 10,900 feet. Now I just cut the pump off. I'm gonna walk back and see what's happening at the tank side of this system. Okay, I am back at the barrel end of the system. And what are we going to find? Woo! Water is still flowing. How can that be after having just shut the pump off? Well, our first clue is what is the elevation of these barrels? Okay, so the elevation of these barrels is about 10,800 feet. So our water source is at 10,900 feet. These barrels are 10,800 feet. These barrels are 100 feet below in elevation than our water source. So what exactly is going on here? No pump going, but we're still getting water. This is called a siphon. And I find it to be absolutely beautiful that I can fill all these tanks off the power of elevation drop alone and no mechanical power. Okay, it's been about a half hour since I started filling barrel number 1, and it is completely full. I'm gonna start filling barrel number 2. Okay, the water's filling up these barrels at a rate of about half hour per barrel. So in a half hour, I'm gonna come back, see how this one's doing, and if it's full, move this piping over and start filling up the next barrel. But in the meantime, while this thing's just filling, I can start on other work. So reflecting a little bit on the last episode, I want to get moved out of this shed where I've been living the last couple years and into a bedroom to start enjoying the structures. And one of the first things I did was start making a ceiling for this bedroom. A ceiling that also serves as a floor for this loft, giving life to this loft, killing two birds with one stone. Now in the last episode I left off with 6 floorboards done, and yesterday I did a couple more, and today I only need about 2 more to finish off this ceiling. I'm really excited about that. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. Work on getting 2 more boards to finish this ceiling, and then start on a wall that's gonna divide this bedroom from the future living room. So here's the next floorboard I got picked out. Now all of our floorboards are uniformly 8 inches, and this one is at 8.5. So I got to mill a 1/2 inch off of this one. I haven't forgotten about my promise to you guys on dedicating a whole episode to milling and the science and art behind it. I haven't forgot about it. It's coming, but just not yet. Be patient. Okay, I got a floorboard done. Before I head up into that loft to install it, I'm gonna go check on the barrels. All right, number 2 is done. On to number 3. Ooh, yeah, that feels nice. Okay, I'm one board away from completing that loft, floor, bedroom, ceiling. But I am all out of boards. What you see here is just scrap. None of it is of quality to use. So I found this piece laying around. I'm going to try to get my last board out of this piece. Let me see if I can work some magic. All right, the last board just got installed and look how beautiful this looks. I'm really happy on how this turned out. Now this floor also acts as the ceiling to that bedroom. So let's go see what that looks like. Okay, for the ceiling, look at that. I'm really happy on how that turned out. Probably sick of me saying that, but man, this is exciting because this is the first interior work done here at Wolf Lodge. And for the last time, I'm really happy on how this turned out. So let's start scheming on what's next for this bedroom. So as you walk into the structure, you enter the living space. Couple couches, coffee table, etc. And then to the left is the bedroom. We need some sort of wall here to divide the two spaces. A wall that's gonna go right here. So that's next on my agenda, to start constructing this wall. My first task is to start searching for material on the property to construct this wall. 2x4s, a header for the door that enters this bedroom. If that material does not exist, then I have to go get some timber, put it on the lumber mill, and start making the pieces myself. Okay, so what is the minimum length 2x4 I need for this wall? It looks like 8-foot minimum 2x4. So let's go see if we can find that. But I almost forgot. We got rain barrels filling up. Let's go see what they look like. All right. Number 3 is overflowing. Looking good. See you in a half hour. So as I leave these rain barrels, I'm looking around and noticing some pieces of timber up here. Timber that hasn't been used over the last couple years because it's been too small for the framing of that structure. But now I'm noticing they would serve beautifully as material for 2x4s. So if I can't find the 2x4s I needed, I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna start winching these guys down. Okay, looking around here. See what this piece is at. Oh yeah, we got 8 foot all day in that baby. So here's one. Obviously I'm gonna have to do some milling to it to turn it into a 2x4, but here's one piece. Way too small. Maybe it's a little bowed, but bet I could use that. See what these guys are at. 8 foot all day. So here's another one. I don't think this one's usable because of this nasty crack here. Oh, the good old boneyard. Just a testament of all the work that's been done up here. Maybe. Okay, so I found a couple pieces that at best are a gamble on whether or not they could be used. So it looks like I'm gonna have to get that winch out, get that timber moved down to the lumber mill, and start milling some 2x4s. Good old trusty winch. So I just started thinking to myself, I might be able to move those timbers by hand. They're relatively small in diameter and they're only 8-foot sections. So before I move this whole winch setup over to that timber, I'm gonna try to hand do it first. Oh yeah. No winch needed. Human power, baby. Okay, we already got 2 sitting there, and as I look uphill, I can see water overflowing on one of the barrels, so let's go switch that hose. Barrel number 4, baby! Starting on number 5. See you in a half hour. Whew. All right. 3 pieces of timber for 2x4s, all sitting here with no winch necessary. Oh man, let's start milling. Alright, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 2x4s milled. I'm gonna go check on those rain barrels and see if the second to last one isn't full. It's close. Probably got about 5-10 more minutes. 5 of the 6 are completely filled. I'm about to fill my last one. All right, so the 2x4s I'm gonna use for this wall are in the structure. I got a little bit of light left, and I'm gonna use that to do some cleaning up and then check that final rain barrel to see if we got all 6 rain barrels filled in one day. All right, we are just about out of light. Let's see how we did on this last and final rain barrel. Woo-wee! It is full. Man, that's huge. 6 rain barrels filled in one day. Oh man, that's exciting. Yeah, boy. Okay, to recap the day, we got the ceiling finished in that bedroom. We got 2x4s milled, ready for construction on that wall tomorrow. And we got 6 barrels filled for a total of 330 gallons filled in one day. That's an absolutely amazing day in my book. I'm gonna get some sleep and we'll see you back here tomorrow. All right, guys, welcome back to another day here. Yesterday, we left off by milling 2x4s. 2x4s that are gonna go into the construction of this wall to separate the living room from the bedroom. After I construct this wall, I'm gonna insulate this room and then put up drywall. The drywall is sitting in my truck right now at the trailhead. So I'm gonna start my morning off by hiking out and grabbing a couple sheets of drywall. So if you saw the first episode and remember the part about us carrying windows, you might have saw this setup. It's a frame pack with some 2x4s attached to it for the purpose of getting the weight a little lower on the body so it's not up so high, hitting tree branches and causing a problem. I dug it out of the boneyard and I'm gonna repurpose it today for carrying in drywall. Let's hike out and see if it works. Got some weather on the horizon. Let's see if I can beat it. Okay, made it. Okay, there they are. 4x8 sheets of drywall cut in half to 4x4s to make the journey a little less awkward, but still awkward nonetheless. All right, here we go. 1 mile. Oh, the sun just popped out. Might not get moisture after all. That's huge. Still hiking on snow. It's the end of July. Ridiculous. So, after carrying thousands of pounds of tools and material in on this trail into the property, I've learned that there's several different types of weight. There's compact, heavyweight, for example, a 80-pound bag of concrete. And then there's awkward heavyweight, like these 5/8 inch sheets of drywall. I'd much rather carry compact weight any day of the week than awkward heavyweight like this load. And that is why, because large loads, you just expel so much energy moving through the forest like this when the load's oversized. Oh, does that little maneuver make me a tree hugger? Each one of these maneuvers is costing me so much energy. Give me a pack that's a quarter this size, but twice its weight, and I'd gladly carry that over this any day of the week. All right, that was my third trip today. I didn't film each trip. You got the gist of the pain and agony that it is. Total of 3 sheets, 5/8 inch drywall sitting here. Oh, that's huge. I'm gonna get some water, and next task for today is start framing this wall. Okay, wall construction. I believe I have all my 2x4s that I need to construct this wall, but what I'm missing is the header for the door that's gonna enter into this bedroom. So that's what I'm gonna start on first, milling the header for this door. All right, that is one beautiful looking piece of wood. That is gonna make a good header. Okay, we got all our 2x4 studs and our door header ready to go. I think we're ready to start framing. I'm gonna stick with pretty standard code when framing this wall. Passage doors must have a minimum height of 80 inches, and we're gonna go with a 33-inch width for the door. And then 16-inch on centers for the 2x4 studs. Any guesses as to what this is? Hint number 1, I need it for the framing. Hint number 2, it was the hardest thing that I've tried to get into the property so far. And hint number 3. So hopefully you were able to guess air compressor, and yes, this thing did come in on my back. It was a nightmarish task, but it needed to happen. This is an essential piece of equipment to this build, and especially today with framing the wall. Okay, it's been sitting all winter. Let's see if it starts. Best $100 I've ever spent in a pawn shop. Okay, so some of you might be asking yourself, why such a long header for this door? My plan is to have a sliding door style for the opening and closing of this door. So I wanted something to secure the rail to. That's why I made this header be so long, is so that door can slide on a rail starting here and end all the way back here. All right, we got the framing of this wall done and 2 pieces of drywall up. That is a huge day. The sun is setting, so it's about time for me to call it quits for today, but tomorrow I'm gonna come back, get some insulation up on these exterior walls and hang some more drywall. So I'll see you back here tomorrow. Gorgeous morning here. Okay guys, last night I left off with a finished framed wall, a wall that divides this living room from this bedroom. And then I installed 2 sheets of drywall. Today I'm gonna start my day off by hiking out to the trailhead, getting a couple more pieces of drywall, and then when I return, I'm gonna continue work on this bedroom. Let's get started. back at the trailhead. I'm gonna pick up the last remaining sheets of drywall and then start hiking back to the property. All right, the last remaining pieces of drywall from the trailhead are on the property. Let me tell you, 5/8 inch drywall is not light stuff. I could have went with a smaller diameter drywall to definitely lighten my load, but these pieces of drywall were given to me for free by a friend. And I will choose a little extra physical exertion for the sake of being budget conscious every single time. All right, back to work on this bedroom. I'm gonna start by finishing the drywall job on this wall that I framed yesterday, and then I'm gonna drywall this wall. But this wall is an exterior wall, so I'm gonna have to insulate it first before I can drywall it. All right, this interior wall is all drywalled and looking good. Obviously, I got some more work here to do, some taping of the seams and some mudding, but this is how I'm gonna leave it for right now. Next, insulation on this exterior wall. First bat of insulation here at Wolf Lodge. Pretty excited about that. Our first insulated wall here at Wolf Lodge. And to some, an insulated wall doesn't seem too exciting, but as I was putting it up, I was thinking about all the cold nights we've spent on this property. We've spent nights in tents, we've spent nights in plastic sheds, and we've even spent nights in hand-dug snow caves. So as I was putting this insulation up, I was thinking back on all those cold nights, and this wall is a means to an end of uncomfortable nights out here. So for those of you who've ever spent a cold, uncomfortable night out here, this wall is for you. Especially my dad. I remember some cold, rainy nights that were uncomfortable for me. I can only imagine what they were like for him. Dad, this wall is for you. Your next visit out here to the property is gonna be a comfortable, warm night, I promise. Okay, with this wall insulated, it's time to start laying drywall on this. All right, we got one interior wall completely drywalled, and one exterior wall completely insulated and drywalled. I am really happy about that. It's about time for me to wrap up and get out of here. But on the next episode, I should be spending my first night in this structure. I am really excited about that. So if you want to see what that looks like and catch future episodes, be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications. And as always, I'm DC, hoping to see you next time here at Wolf Lodge.